Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of TODD Todd Senofonte presents Stunts in Film, Stunts in Acting, and Stunts in Everything Else. And we left off last week talking about Universal Soldier 2, The Return. So I wanted to get back with Todd to see what the experience was like working on Universal Soldier 2. And for you wrestling fans out there, he has a special Bill Goldberg story.
What is up? So yeah, last week we talked about Universal Soldier: The Return. I worked with Michael Jai White, incredible guy. Got one of the best sidekicks I've ever seen. And we'd always be joking on the set because we'd watch all the Stunt Coordinator, get everything ready, and there was one scene where we had the gun we were using. It had a flip up in the air and we had to catch it. So the technology in 99, they had a fish wire tied with the board, tied the gun to it, and just like dangled it. And we had to jump up and catch it and then shoot it. That's technology. Also, I had the pleasure of working with all you wrestling fans out there, Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is probably, his shoulders are massive. When I first met him, I said, "Hey, Bill, Todd Senofonte, Jean-Claude's double." He shook my hand. His grip was like, a bear grip. So we started talking a little bit, and I said, "Bill," I said, "between you and I said, Sting is my favorite wrestler." He said, "Steve is a great guy." So I thought that was pretty cool. He was very generous, really nice guy. Great athlete. So Universal Soldier: The Return, I did the end fight scene with Michael Jai White. We wrapped. I went over to Bill because I really wanted to, live on good terms with him. I said, "Bill, it's a pleasure meeting you. Big fan. Tough Sting." I said hi. He goes, "Will do." And recently we reconnected because it was a long time. It was back in '99. We recently reconnected on Instagram. I sent him a picture of that we took in a makeup chair, and his response was, "Wow, that was a long time ago." So I keep in contact with him, and hopefully, visit him one day at his house. That'll be kind of cool. Take the podcast there. So after Universal Soldier Return, that was '99. When I first moved to California. So I finished that. That is when I started to get into the fitness world. I got offers to do Muscle and Fitness magazine, a magazine called Pump, Exercise for Men, Burn, and that got me, pretty much a lot of attention after Universal Soldier: The Return. That's when I started doing, some more independent films for myself. But getting back to the Van Damme story, so from '99, it wasn't until 2006 when out of the blue, I got a call or an email from the producer and said, "We can definitely use you for, what movie was it? It was, Until Death. Same thing, stand in, photo double, and do the stunts." So from '99 to 2006, I pretty much lost contact with Jean-Claude. I show up on the set, we hug each other, great to see you. Same thing happened. One of the funniest stories I have with Jean-Claude happened a few movies after that, but getting back to Until Death in Bulgaria, beautiful, beautiful country. So same thing. We finished that movie. I go to him. "Hey, I'm here. You need me. Hey, here's that." So 2006 ends. I fly back. Now there's another gap for a few years. Again, I do some more of my own stuff, acting, some more of the fitness magazines. So 2006 now turned into 2014 for Pound of Flesh. I get a call from his manager, attorney, and said, Todd, Jean-Claude is in China for Pound of Flesh. We definitely need you. I was like, all right, when do you need me? I'm thinking, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We need you now. So I had to drive down to LA, get my visa, get all the paperwork. And in a matter of 3 days, I'm on a flight heading to China to work on Pound of Flesh. This is probably the most grueling film to date. Anybody that worked on this film, we had a month of night shoots. Night shoots are, your call time is about 4:30, 5 o'clock. You get picked up in the afternoon, 4:30 p.m. at night. So we get picked up at 4:30, drive to the set. We have breakfast at 4:30. Night shoots really kind of mess up your eating habits. But again, grueling, long hours. I wasn't really concerned about my diet. So 4:30, and then at midnight, we have lunch. Have lunch at midnight. Yeah, noodles and chicken, some Coke, Pepsi. And then at 6 o'clock we wrap. So we go home to the hotel. Once we get to the hotel, we're starving. So I go to my room, he goes to his room, Jean-Claude. We shower, we meet down in the lobby and have breakfast around 7:30. And that was pretty much our schedule for the night shoots. Get picked up at 4:30, then 6 p.m. have lunch, and then we wrap, and then we have breakfast at the hotel. This film, one particular scene that stands out for me. When we're having breakfast at 7:30 in the morning, it's like a buffet. So there's a chef, in the back, and there's a window where you can see in the kitchen. So I've got my plate. I'm standing behind Jean-Claude. He's got his plate. We're in line. You put your plate out, and they scoop out the onion or the eggs and bacon, whatever. There's a guy standing in front of Jean-Claude. I'm behind Jean-Claude. The guy puts his plate up to get his eggs. The chef puts the eggs on the plate. The eggs slide off into a big bowl of vinegar and splashes everywhere. And Jean-Claude looks at me, I look at him, and we just started laughing. It was so funny. I mean, I still mention it to him. When I do contact him once in a while, and he still gets a kick out of it. The second funny thing on that film, we're leaving the set, and the sound guy, it was built on a stage. The set was built on a stage, so there was a gap, about like a 3 feet gap, and the sound guy was on the stage, and he was doing some, I guess, a wild noise, and he kept taking his microphone or headphone off, he goes, "What is that sound?" And it was a cricket, and the sound guy got up, and he was gonna go and kill the cricket. Jean-Claude looks at me, I look at him, he goes, no. He goes, "You're not gonna kill that cricket. Todd, go get a cup." So I got one of those, red college cups. I said, "Okay." I said, "Here." So Jean-Claude goes, we both go underneath, and he gets the cricket in the cup. He gives the cup to me, and he goes, "Okay, go put it in the grass." So I run over and I put it in the grass. It's little things like that stand out a lot more than it's doing stunts and crazy stuff, because it's real. Jean-Claude is he loves animals. He loves his family. We have a lot in common with that, and that just goes to show me, because I love animals. I would never kill a cricket, or I would shoo a cockroach out if I saw it, and spiders. But that's just him. So Until Death, that was probably the most grueling, just because of the night shoots, long hours. But it's a great movie. Great actors. It was Gary McDonald, Gary Beadle, a lot of these great guys I still keep in touch with. Adam, he was a great actor. So 2006, the very last scene we had was, I don't know if you saw the movie, but when Jean-Claude is chasing Stephen Ray, the helicopter is taken off. So the camera's behind me, and I'm with the gun. The propeller blew my contact out of my eye, and I caught it on my eye as I'm doing the scene shooting. Once they cut, I ran to the honey wagon. I took my contact out, cleaned it, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to get that LASIK surgery. So since that incident happened, after the film, I flew back to Pennsylvania before I flew back to California. I flew back to Pennsylvania. I had the LASIK surgery done. My buddy's an optometrist, and his ophthalmologist did the surgery. And if you're ever wondering why I have these glasses or why I wear them, my eyes are still sensitive to light. These glasses I've had for 16 years. I always took care of them. Every time I took them off, I put them in the case for 16 years. So that's one thing I'm proud of. Besides having 20/20 vision, that always helps. So that Until Death was after Until Death. Again, nothing. And then 2017 comes around. Jean-Claude actually calls me up and says, I'm doing a TV series called Jean-Claude Van Johnson. There's not a lot of action, but I do want you to come on with me. I want you to be my trainer, and I want you to be my driver. I'm like, hey, it's work. Work is work. Never turn down work in this business because you never know when it's going to come. So my job was Amazon rented us a Ford Explorer Sport, beautiful truck. I picked it up, so I would have it at my place in Woodland Hills. I would drive to Simi Valley where I used to live. I would pick him up, then I would drive him to set. So it was a little different. You know, I am not used to being like an assistant type of person, but again, I was happy working. So we got pretty much more of a bond because we spent so much time on the films. You know, I would hang out with them, but it wasn't like all day on the set, and then after that we would drive home. Some days I would drop him off and drive back to my place, but then there were times where we had a really late wrap. I would just stay at his house. He would call Gladys up, hey, Toddy's coming, just make sure the bed is ready, which was easier. We would just both get up and then go. There were a few times we were late, and the producer said, maybe it is a good thing that you do stay there if you can. If not, we'll put you up close to the set so you're not late. And they did. A couple times they would put us up in some hotels on Sunset, so we get up early and make there on time. And it was a great series. Unfortunately, it didn't get picked up. But he had so many characters in that series. It shows you his range, not just to the kicking and the punching. He's a very funny guy, very funny, down-to-earth guy. So 2017 was the last job I did with Jean-Claude. And then after that, we can talk with Tim about the projects that we worked on together, and then go from there.
Between the time you stopped working with Jean-Claude Van Damme until the time you worked with him again on Until Death, you did a movie called Kung Fu-y where you played Jean-Claude Croissant, and I wanted to see if Jean-Claude Van Damme knew that you played that part, and if so, what was his opinion about you playing Jean Fraud Croissant?
I think that was back in 2003. Daryl Fong called me up and said, hey, I'm doing this spoof. It's called Kung Fu-y. I mean, you'd be perfect to play Jean Fraud Croissant. And I was like, it's comedy. I can do comedy. So I did mention it to Jean-Claude. He laughed when he saw the name, Jean Fraud Croissant. And the the little fight scene we have, I'm supposedly fighting Bruce Lee, and we had that little roundabout square off type of thing, and I was able to improv a lot of the dialogue, because there's some stuff written up. I said, Daryl, I said, this would be funny if I say this. He goes, go ahead. So if you see the film Kung Fu, the end fight scene that we have, it's hilarious, and it did pretty good. But that was a lot of fun. We filmed that in San Francisco.
And then one of the big shows of the 90s, 2000s to mid 2000s was Power Rangers. So I never knew that story. I know you were involved with the Power Rangers series, but how did that come to be? How did you get involved with Power Rangers?
Wow, that was 2000, 2001, I believe. One of the coordinators on the show, and I forget his name, I apologize. He asked me if I wanted to come on and be a part of the Power Rangers as one of the Silver Guardians. It wasn't a big role, but again, you never pass up an opportunity. So that was there was really no big stories on it. There was really no action. I just played a Silver Guardian that had one little scene that runs over, and talks to the president and make sure he's safe, and then I run off. So, but again, it was work.
So now that you did all the stunts and now you're in the acting part of the industry, did you kind of feel you hit your stride when you started acting on your own? You were like, I can do this. This is better for me. I like to act, I like to be in front of the camera as opposed to being a stunt man, stunt double, photo double. Like, how did you feel about making that change? Still doing stunts, but now you're acting more in front of the camera.
Well, I don't think anybody actually hits their stride. You always want to get better to perfect your craft. But I do feel a lot comfortable in front of the camera. Don't get me wrong. I love doing the stunts. It's a big adrenaline rush. But acting can also be a big adrenaline rush, especially if you get like A Reason to Live, the short film I did. That was mentally for me, it was a draining role, because towards the end, I might as well tell you, if you didn't see it, it's on YouTube. I had to go. I had to go back and really think of some powerful moments in my life to, cry on cue. That's very difficult to do. Crying on cue is very difficult. Those that do it, I have so much respect for those actors. But I feel that now, I have enough in my artillery to present to producers and directors with the experience that, I'm capable of, to say, for my close-up. I've done films, but, it's not like that one big break that you get, and then you say to yourself, all the hard work, all the rejections, will pay off. And the films that I worked with Tim on, there are some really good dialogue, some really good scenes in there that I think will catch a lot of director and producers' attention.
Yeah, so we did a film called The Rideshare Killer, which Todd plays the killer in. And in my personal opinion, I'm not just saying that because I'm Todd's manager. I had several clients involved in that film. But I do feel that Todd carried the movie as far as the acting ability goes. And it was a real suspenseful film. And that particular film right now is on Tubi TV. So anybody can watch that film on Tubi TV. It's called The Rideshare Killer. And Todd was in the movie with our clients Eric Roberts and Tuesday Night from Nightmare on Elm Street, Rio Summers from America's Next Top Model. There's some really nice talent in the movie, but I just wanted to see what Todd's opinion on that film was what some of his challenges were on the set, and what was his takeaway from that movie?
Well, I was hoping to do a scene with Eric Roberts. Eventually, I did on another film, that film there, but that's not the Rideshare Killer. Well, when Tim called me up and said, "Hey, I got this film called The Rideshare Killer. It's with Eric Roberts," and once I heard Eric Roberts, I was like, the best of the best. It was a great film. He was Batman. Unfortunately, all my scenes were not with Eric, but they were with Tuesday Night. Tuesday Night is a gem. I really, her and I bonded on that set almost like a brother and sister relationship. And we had some of the, intense scenes towards the end of the film with her. But my take on that was, it was probably, well, actually, it was my biggest role to date. And the dialogue I loved, a lot of dialogue in it, and I feel that again, that film, I'm almost on the catapult. So once we just cut that catapult, I guess the sky's the limit. But the Rideshare Killer, the story, it's a great story. All the actors on that I enjoyed working with. Well, unfortunately, except Eric Roberts, but I did get to work with him on other projects down the road. Hopefully more. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Rideshare Killer, check it out.
So, what was your experience working with, like, on Turbulent Skies, for example? Turbulent Skies was the first film that you acted on where you had one of the lead roles and dialogue in comparison to The Rideshare Killer. How would you differentiate those experiences as an actor?
Turbulent Skies, it was a very small part. Fred Olin Ray casted me in it, and it was different from other films because, well, there wasn't really any action. The only scene I had was with Casper Van Dien on the plane, and all I had was a couple, 2-3 lines. I guided him to, tell him what to do. You got to go up there, make sure you have the inhaler. And so Turbulent Skies, although it turned out to be, a really good movie, not much on that film as far as, story-wise, because I only had like one day work on that film.
And so what can you tell us about working with Fred Olin Ray as a director on that particular film? I think he also did Super Shark, which was the next film that you did after Turbulent Skies. Any thoughts, your experiences working on Super Shark?
Oh, Fred is great. We have we had a great relationship on Turbulent Skies and Super Shark. Super Shark, I think every time they have Shark Week, they do play Super Shark. I played one of the military guys. I'm former military, so I was comfortable with the weapons. And then the scene where I have the flamethrower shooting at the shark, So that there was a lot of fun to do. The co-star was Gerald Webb. He and I were like next to each other, shoot at the shark. Then I put the flamethrower on. They're kind of heavy, It's a good workout. Running on the beach, stopping, doing the flame. And it was fun. It was especially filming on the beach. I believe it was up near past Zuma Beach. We filmed that. But Fred is great. He's a great director, and he's a great guy.
Any experiences working with the animatronics, like the shark? Any stories about working with the shark on the set? Because those are always fun stories. Like, oh, the shark stopped working. Any stories like that?
Well, the shark was all CGI, so I never met the shark. But I hear the shark's name is Bruce.
Right on. Yeah, it's kind of like Jaws. Everybody likes Jaws. That was basically the predecessor that all shark films followed after that. Jaws was like the ultimate classic shark film. But then you worked on Jersey Shore Shark Attack as well. Jersey Shore Shark Attack. Any experiences you could share from that particular movie?
Again, it was a Fred Olen Ray film. I got to meet up with Paul Sorvino. We met on Knockoff in Hong Kong. That's the first time I met Paul Sorvino, and Paul Sorvino was also in this film. And I also got to be friends with William Atherton, famous for Die Hard, Ghostbusters. Not a lot of interaction with him on set. Again, I play this very curious bystander called Mr. Marino, and I have a couple of 2-3 lines. But leaving the set, I was able to get William Atherton's email. So we kept in contact. And then one day, I walk out my door and I see him walking. I said, "Hey, Bill." He goes, "Hey." He lives about 3 blocks from me, and I never knew that. So we would walk up the street back in, well, it was a few years ago, and we would meet up for coffee, just hang out, talk about everything. And but William Atherton, another great actor that has a lot of stuff going on now. I said, "Bill, we got to work together, man." He goes, "Hey, you never know."
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, "Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star?" Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's BUIE homes.com, or you can email him at benbuie34@gmail.com. BENBUIE34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Tell him Wolfie sent you. Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544.
Jimmy, I gotta take a dump. What? No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
With Mr. Todd Senofonte, stunts in film, stunts in acting, and stunts in everything else. So, Todd, you had an opportunity to be a stunt coordinator, stunt man, stunt double, photo double, actor. Is there any part of the industry, the film industry, that you haven't yet done that you would love to do?
I'd always loved to be a cook. No, pretty much. I have to put doing the stunts on top again because of the adrenaline rush, the acting. I'm not much of a writer, but I have some. Back in the day, I started writing a little skit, but I think I'm more comfortable, in front of the camera and then doing the stunts. But I have so much respect for everybody in the business. Again, from the craft service to the electricians, the location managers, the casting, the sound, the boom people. They put so much time and effort to make actors look as good as they can. And again, a shout out to all the stunt coordinators out there for the safety and to keep everybody safe.
So talk about that. Like, who are some of your favorite stunt coordinators that you've had an opportunity to work with, as far as stunt men, stunt women? Like, share with us some of those experiences. Like, who are some of your personal favorite stunt coordinators?
Well, first that comes to mind is Charlie Pacerni. He's been in the business for a long, long time. I got to meet him on Maximum Risk, and he's actually the reason how I got my my SAG card. I'll tell the story again. We're in France, and at the time Jean-Claude had a double on Maximum Risk. So one day I'm sitting in the chair on set, and I see Charlie walking back and forth, and he's looking at his watch because he was waiting for Mark Stefanich to come back, Jean-Claude's stunt double, to do a scene. And he was waiting. I'm just sitting there, and he looks at me, and he says, "Hey, Todd, you want to do this?" I said, "What is it?" "Well, we're going to harness you on the hood of a car, and then you're going to crash into these tables and chairs, and everything, all the debris." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So they harnessed me on the hood of the car, crashed through the tables and chairs. We did it a couple times, and I was a must join. That's how I got my SAG card. So I do thank Charlie for that. There was a lot of other great stunt coordinators. I'm going to go back to the Hong Kong crew. Sammo Hung, he's incredible. The talent he has, and he's a big guy too, but he's so athletic. And we got along great on the set of Knockoff. He would, try to describe things. He had a translator. And, I would listen to him, and then I look at the translator. Okay, cool. The language barrier was a little difficult, but we pretty much knew what he was saying. So Sammo and the Chinese crew, great guys, and I still think he's involved in the business and still going at it. But when I met Jackie Chan, that was the one time I did not have my camera, because that was back on Double Team. He just came and showed up. Choi Hawk was the director. They're good friends, and just shaking his hand, meeting him, like, wow, Jackie Chan, that's amazing. Choi Hawk was one of those directors where he didn't want to waste time. Everything was like fast. Okay, we'll get that back. We'll come back to that. And Ringo Lam, another great director. Directed Maximum Risk. So I got a chance to, meet all these great directors, coordinators that have been doing this for much longer than I have, and I'm still learning. And I plan on learning, a lot more, because I feel things are starting to happen and they're looking up. So it's get used to my face.
So for someone who doesn't know, if you're not in the industry like we are, we're in the industry, so we know the lingo. But if someone doesn't know what a stunt coordinator is, how would you explain what a stunt coordinator does? What's the principal job of a stunt coordinator?
Well, the stunt coordinator is in charge of all the physical stunts in a film or a TV series. They're responsible for bringing the actors onto the set, showing them the choreograph of what's going to happen, safety briefings. There was an incident, you've heard about that incident, about the movie Rust, but proper stunt coordinators have safety briefings before, during, and after. They make sure everything is completely safe. Nobody is at risk, and their job is to make sure that the actors, the actresses do their scene, and the stunt guys do the stunts in a safe environment. So stunt coordinators have a big role on a movie film.
Well, a lot of films, especially horror films, will get an actor to play the killer, and they'll have maybe another actor that does all the stunts, doubles for the actor, and does all the doubling for that actor. The ride-share killer, the actor who played the killer, and you did all your... So there's a lot of credit for that, because you're, instead of having an employee who did the stunts, you did stunts. So how is for you to get a chance to play?
Okay, all right, hold on. Tim, you're very choppy on your audio. Check and see to make sure that somebody didn't just go on your internet or something. We'll hold off. We'll cut this part out.
On my internet.
No? Yeah, it was very hard to hear what you said. So
I was reading his lips.
You were reading his lips? That's good. All right. Let's see. Give me a count of like 5 or 6. Let's see how you're working now, Tim.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Check.
That works.
Bueller.
Okay. Bueller. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you a 5 count, and then if you can ask the same question again, we'll edit it, in the future. Okay?
Okay.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so I was basically asking Todd, he played the killer in the movie The Rideshare Killer, plus he did all his own stunts. So that was the first time that he had opportunity to lead in a film, also to do all his own stunts in that same film. So I wanted to hear from Todd what that experience was like to star in a film that you also were able to do all your own stunts on.
Now, in this film, there wasn't a lot of, physical action in it, except for the very end, with the big slicing of the sword. But that is one thing, again, the reason why big actors, actresses have doubles, insurance policies. I'm sure all of these actors and actresses would love to do all the action, but they can't. For me, being an athlete all my life, I would like to do that. I mean, I would love to do, how Tom Cruise is a great actor. He does a lot of his, action. But again, when it comes to big productions, and maybe, Tom Cruise is the exception to a point, that is why actors, actresses do have a stunt double, for their dangerous, dangerous scenes. But I enjoyed Rideshare Killer. We should have a Rideshare Killer 2, but I won't ruin the ending if you haven't seen it. I'll be back.
Now, you did a real career-changing type of role, and it was a comedy movie actually called My Redneck Neighbor, where you played a different type of role. You played a gay character. So someone who is as masculine as you are to transform into a gay character and to play that role. What was that experience for you like? I'd love to hear that.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
The redneck, my redneck neighbor. Tim, that was a funny role. I played this gay hick, and I brought out my feminine side, to say the least. It wasn't really a stretch. It just kind of came natural. But don't tell anybody I said that. My Redneck Neighbor. A lot of funny characters on that show. Mario and Harry and Bai, and it was. I had the very end when we did the end scene at the that ranch, I had this really funny ad lib I wanted to do, but there was no time to do it. Maybe if they do a Redneck Neighbor 2, I can do it. It just it went off after the car wash scene, the little scene I have, and I tell the girls washing the car, and then I said, don't forget the tires, sugar tits, and it goes off of that, but we didn't get a chance to do it, but it was fun. The comedy is always fun. Everybody needs a laugh, and if it ever comes out, maybe you will laugh.
Yeah, we need to laugh at that one. And I got to say, rest to Harry Mock, because Mock was one of the lead roles on that film, and he passed away a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And God bless him, man. I'm going to definitely miss him. And then Mariano, he's hanging on, so hopefully God's good grace, he'll be okay. But it was great to work with both of those guys on the set with you. That was an awesome experience. And Eric Roberts was in the movie too. Eric Roberts and Eliza Roberts, his wife, were both in that movie. And we had a really good cast on that film, and I hope we get a chance to see the finished product. So, yeah. Moving along with that, man, we've done 2 films since then. We did It Wants Blood Part 2, where you actually had an opportunity to act opposite Eric Roberts for the first time on film. So what was that experience for you like to work with Eric Roberts?
Well, seeing Eric again and Eliza, they're just they're a perfect match for each other. They're just great people. And Eric remembered me. I met him actually before the Rideshare Killer at a charity event in Chatsworth. So he remembered me then, and then we talked back and forth on Twitter. But again, that It Wants Blood 2 was another really short scene where I play one of Eric Roberts' associates, or I forget what the role was. But all the scene was, he was sitting in the chair, and I come in. I say, I appreciate it. I can't really, help you out this month or this month, in your term. But it was a pleasure working with you. And then he says his dialogue, and then I go off camera. So that was actually the first time, him and I were on screen together. Hopefully not the last. But I do still keep in touch with Eric on Twitter. And Eliza. They're great.
And actually, you did a project prior to all that with Eric Roberts, and I don't know what your working experience was with him on that. I think you were stunt coordinator, or you were one of the stuntmen on a movie called Pups Alone. Want to share that experience with a movie called Pups Alone?
Yeah, it was called Pups Alone. It was a Christmas film, and I was brought on to be a photo double for somebody else, one of the actors. And all it was a simple slip and fall. So the camera would just be on from the waist down, and I'd be walking, and I would slip, and I would actually fall back onto the floor. So that's pretty much what a utility stunt is. People that don't know what, they know what a stunt double is. But a utility stunt is someone who comes on and just does, a simple stunt like, falling down the stairs or getting thrown through the window. But this was just like a simple slip and fall. I fall back, onto the pads, out of frame. But that film, I didn't get a chance to meet him either. But yeah, Dolph Lundgren was in it too. I didn't get a chance to meet Dolph, but I met Dolph at the Cafe Roma a couple, 2-3 years ago. Another nice guy.
So, producer came to you and said, "Hey, Todd, you have the ability to play whatever role you want to play. What role be? Like, what is your quintessential role as an actor that you've not had the chance to play that you really want the opportunity to play?"
Well, I've always loved sport films, like baseball films, basketball, football films. my take on being an athlete since I was young. When I watch Kevin Costner, for instance, he's like a natural athlete. He played, college baseball. And my favorite, sport film is For Love of the Game. You can just tell because he has that natural ability when he throws. And that's what, athletes kind of sense, if someone has any athletic ability. I would love to do a sport film, but I would pretty much, if I had a choice, like if Tim came to me and said, okay, Todd, I've got this action, dramatic, romantic comedy script, or I got this really huge martial art film. I would choose the action, dramatic, romantic comedy film. For me, right now, where I am in my career, if that wasn't the choice, of course I would take the martial art film. But for me, it would just give me more of a range instead of just kicking and punching and getting thrown, getting kicked, to show, the whole spectrum of the acting and, the romance, the drama, the action, all in one. So that is what I would love to do, and of course, who wouldn't? But if that was presented to me, that's what I would choose now.
Well, to be the ability to be the ladies' man and to have the star appeal, is that kind of a goal of yours to be recognized in the business as the star, or did you just get into the business to say this is something I want to do? I don't really have goals of being a massive star. Like, what's your end goal business? If somebody asked you what your end goal was, not your end goal, but just your immediate end goal, let's say.
Well, I guess like any actress out there, is to keep working. The more you work, the more you're on set, the more you learn. As far as the stunt world, for me, it's all about respect. A lot of these stunt guys, stunt women, they put their lives on the line. And for me, it's, and I feel I speak for most of them, that respect it means a lot in this business. Some stunts, are kind of like pushed to the side or not really given the attention they need. But as far as where I want to be, what I want to do, like I said, when I first stepped foot on the set of Sudden Death, it was just something, something happened. It was like I feel like this is where I need to be. This is where I belong. Because going back into high school, I was a president of my drama club, and I always liked to act with my friends, be the funny one, the crazy one, the weird one. So it was always in my blood, because I'm the middle of, I've got two other brothers. I've got Mark is the oldest, Scott is the youngest, and I'm right in the middle. And I've always, I feel I'm like the fulcrum in our family. You balance the two of them out. And different, I like to be different. I feel like I'm different, and we'll see what happens, in the near future.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner, same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops. Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack. The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
So we're discussing the acting portion of the show business entertainment industry. I was asking Todd who are some of his favorite actors or actresses. I call everybody actors that he had an opportunity to work with thus far, and share some of those stories about being on set as an actor.
Well, I'm going to say probably the most impressive actor I've ever been next to, been around, is got to be Sir Roger Moore. On The Quest, he injured his knee for a scene, and you can't see it. He had a crutch. They kind of hit it pretty well. But before he hurt his leg, when we would have lunch, they would have a tent set up. We're in Thailand. They have a tent set up, and one day we're just sitting there eating, and all of a sudden, like over my shoulder, I see this pot of water, like a pot for water. And he goes, all I hear is, "More water, sir." And I look up, and it's Roger Moore. I'm like, "Oh, sure, thank you." There's Roger Moore pouring me coffee. So that's probably, the elite of the elite. But so many actors, starting with Sudden Death, Powers Booth, Dorian Hayward, all these guys. Like I said, The Quest, there was Roger Moore, Jack McGee, Janet Gunn, James Remar, and then Maximum Risk, Natasha Henstridge, beautiful, beautiful girl. And let's see, after Maximum Risk, Double Team, Mickey Rourke, Dennis Rodman. I'm gonna go right down the line. After Double Team, come Knockoff again. Paul Sorvino, Rob Schneider, Layla Rashawn, and I would always stay a little extra. Like when I'd be done, I would just like to stay just a little extra, just to watch and just to learn. And not a lot of guys back in the day, some stunt guys, they didn't want to do that. It was just me. I figured the more I can absorb, the better it's going to be for me. So after Knockoff, then we had Legionnaire. We did that in Morocco. Let's see, after Legionnaire was Universal Soldier of the Return, Michael Jai White, Goldberg. And then after that was Until Death, Stephen Ray. Let's see, who else was in that movie? Adam Lisi, Gary McDonald, Gary Beadle. And then I forgot to mention there's one film that I did actual photo doubling for Jean-Claude called Swelter. And that had a great cast. Especially, Lenny James, star of The Walking Dead. He let me hang out with him in his dressing room. He got a nice picture with him, and then there's Grant Bowler. Was another. He was in Defiance, another great actor. But that was a movie called Swelter. Didn't really get a lot of attention, but it was Alfred Molina also, another great cast. So then then we do the let's see, was it Pound of Flesh? It was Pound of Flesh. Pound of Flesh had Stephen Ray. But if you had to ask me, out of all those, I'm going to have to go back to Roger Moore. Because how many, people can say that they were an actual film with a living legend at the time, and he's pouring water for me.
Yeah, 007, James Bond.
My favorite Bond.
Mm-hmm.
They're all good.
So, in your opinion, did you learn more from being on set around those caliber actors, picking up techniques here and there, or did you learn more yourself from going to acting school? Like, if somebody had the ability to say, hey, I want to learn to act, but I have the ability to learn hands-on, being on set around actors who are very successful actors, or going to film school, which one would you suggest and why?
The best school you can attend is being on set. I learned so much, not just from the actors. I mean, how many actors these days know what check the gate means? Back in the day, the 35 millimeter film, I would always just love this, see the camera guys and the focus pullers, check the gate. And nowadays, these kids these days, they have no idea what checking the gate was. And now it's just, check the disc or whatever, the microchip. But back in the day, I mean, the best acting class for me was being on set. Yeah, I've taken acting classes, but there's nothing like being on set in the actual game and learning, from call time to rap, martini shot. I mean, let's go again. Hey, look great. Let's go again. Stuff like that. It's just, to me, that feels more real than just being in a studio, doing a scene with someone else. But yeah, being on set for me is the best acting class you can take.
Gentlemen, you have been watching episode 2, Todd Senofonte Stunts and Acting and Stunts and Everything Else. TODD, Todd Senofonte. Any closing words for your fans out there?
TODD out, train hard, think positive, and have fun.
It doesn't